Today we're diving into 67 facts about Claire Redfield, motorcycle enthusiast, zombie slayer, and the master of staying calm when everything is on fire. She might have started off just looking for her brother, but she ended up becoming one of the most iconic heroes in the Resident Evil series. Claire Redfield made her first appearance in Resident Evil 2, released in 1998 for the original PlayStation. Right from the start, she stood out from the other characters in the series. Instead of being part of a military squad or a special police unit, Claire was a civilian, thrown straight into the chaos of Raccoon City.
Wait! Don't shoot!
Get down!
Claire grew up with her older brother, Chris Redfield. Sadly, in 1994, both of their parents died in a car accident. At the time, Claire was just 15 years old, while Chris was 21. This tragedy brought the siblings even closer, setting the stage for their strong bond later in the series.
Yeah, it's payback time.
After their parents' death, Chris and Claire took very different paths. Chris skipped college and joined the US Air Force. Meanwhile, Claire went the normal route and became a university student, at least until zombies and evil corporations decided to completely wreck that plan. The very first person to portray Claire Redfield wasn't in a game. It was actress Adrienne France in the 1998 live-action TV commercial for Resident Evil 2. And fun fact, that commercial was actually directed by none other than George A. Romero, the legendary zombie movie director himself. When you think of dual pistols in Resident Evil, most people immediately picture Leon Kennedy. But let's be real, he might have stolen that idea from Claire Redfield. In Code Veronica, Claire was the first to wield the iconic dual M100P handguns, years before Leon took up his own pair in Resident Evil 6. In the Resident Evil 2 remake, players can unlock the classic 98 Claire costume, which is a throwback to her original 1998 PS1 design. And just like the classic 98 Leon, this look doesn't quite hold up in the world of hyper-realistic graphics. Claire's arms look a little odd, and her expression is way angrier than the modern Claire. It kind of breaks the immersion when you see a realistic zombie biting into a character that looks like she's a more evolved version of a Minecraft character. Claire and Sherry Birkin share a deep, powerful bond that began during the Raccoon City outbreak. When Claire first encountered Sherry at the police station, the young girl was terrified and ready to run. Claire managed to calm her down, reassuring her that she wasn't a zombie. Claire's protective instincts for Sherry were immediate.
It's okay. I won't hurt you, I promise.
Claire and Chris Redfield are only seen together in one game, Resident Evil Code Veronica. Both are playable characters, but they aren't together for much of the game. While their stories intertwine, they spend the majority of the game apart, each facing their own battles. Their reunion is a key moment, but it's brief.
Remember your promise.
Claire Redfield was born in 1979. Claire's official height is listed at 5 feet 6.5 inches. That's about 169 centimeters, and she weighs 116 pounds, or roughly 53 kilograms. Claire's got some signature gear. Her unique weapons are the Spark Shot, which is basically a giant taser with a cooler name, and the grenade launcher, for when zombies need a little extra persuasion. In Code Veronica, Claire switches things up and starts with a lighter and a player's manual in her inventory. No lockpick this time, like in Resident Evil 2. Guess she left that back in Raccoon City. When it comes to designing characters, Resident Evil developers often use real-life celebrities for inspiration. For Resident Evil 2, Claire Redfield's original look was actually based on actress Neve Campbell. But by the time Code Veronica rolled around, her appearance was now modeled after Liv Tyler. So if you thought she looked a little like Arwen Goes to Zombie Boot Camp, you're not wrong. A lot can change between the start of game development and the version we actually get to play. In Resident Evil 1.5, the scrapped early version of Resident Evil 2, Claire wasn't even Claire yet. She was Elza Walker, a blonde student from Raccoon University. They got pretty far too. There's even gameplay footage of Elza in action, before the game got scrapped and reworked. That's when Capcom gave her a backstory as Chris Redfield's sister, changed her hair to auburn, and switched her outfit to red to contrast Leon's blue. Classic 90s makeover. Darkside Chronicles is an on-rails shooter that dropped on the Wii and PlayStation 3 in 2009, with Claire stepping up as one of the main protagonists. The game revisits Resident Evil 2 and Code Veronica, but adds a new segment that pieces the two stories together. It's a deeper dive into Claire's journey, and also, Ada has a lipstick that shoots a missile, which is just peak Resident Evil. Claire didn't just roll into Raccoon City, she came in style on a Harley. In the Resident Evil 2 remake, Capcom actually partnered with Harley-Davidson to give Claire her own official ride, a 1998 Harley-Davidson FX STB Night Train, painted red to match her signature style. But fun fact, back when she was still Elsa Walker in the early concept art, her bike wasn't a Harley at all. It was a Ducati, likely based on the 1970s Ducati 500 GTL. So yeah, even her motorcycle got a redesign. Barry Burton, gun expert and dad joke enthusiast,
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
is actually a close friend of Claire's. The two formed a bond during the chaos of the Resident Evil series, and Barry's even come to her rescue more than once.
So, what are you gonna do now, Barry?
Don't shoot! I'm a human!
For most of her early appearances, Claire was voiced by the same actress, Alison Court. If her voice sounds familiar, that's because she also played Lydia Dietz in the late 80s and early 90s Beetlejuice cartoon,
But listen, we'll have to put up our decorations tomorrow.
and Jubilee in the classic 90s X-Men animated series.
Damn, it's one of us, you tattoo freak.
Claire didn't just fight zombies, she hit the slopes too. She's a playable character in Trick and Snowboarder, a 1999 snowboarding game for the PlayStation. And she's not alone. Leon and even a random zombie cop from Resident Evil 2 join her as unlockable characters. In the late 90s, Claire also appeared in Resident Evil comics, published by Wildstorm. These comics expanded on the game's storyline and gave fans more of Claire's battles against Umbrella outside the main titles. In Resident Evil 2, Claire doesn't just shoot zombies, she kicks their heads off. Seems like that would really hurt your foot, but hey, Claire's tough, I guess.
Okay!
Code Veronica got a special limited edition release on the Dreamcast in Japan. Only 1,800 of the red Claire version bundles were made, featuring a translucent red Dreamcast, a matching controller, and a copy of Biohazard Code Veronica. And of course, a huge dose of bragging rights. And if you wanted the Stars version, only 200 were made. Claire was originally conceived as Rachel Spire during development. Despite the name, there's no indication that she's related to Forrest Spire, and it's likely that Rachel Spire was just a placeholder name before Claire's final design.
It looks like he was killed by a crow or something.
In the Devil May Cry graphic novel, Dante mentions asking a girl named Claire out on a date. This is likely a nod to Resident Evil's Claire, as both characters were created by Hideki Kamiya. Plus, Dante's alias, Redglaive, is a tribute to Claire's brother, Chris Redfield.
Ever get the feeling you're expendable?
Claire was one of the playable characters in Capcom Super League Online. Claire served as a big sister figure to Barry Burton's daughter during the events of Revelations 2. She was also the main reason Moria joined TerraSave, despite her father's disapproval of her getting involved. Unfortunately, we don't know Claire's exact birthday, so we can't say for certain which zodiac sign she falls under. However, if we look at the year alone, Claire would likely be a goat, also called a sheep or a ram, in the Chinese zodiac. People born under this sign are often seen as compassionate, gentle, and determined, traits that definitely align with Claire's character. Claire's eyes are blue. Claire's handgun is the Browning High Power, or HP for short. Leon gives it to her at the start of Resident Evil 2 from the police car's glove box. Code Veronica takes place 3 months after Resident Evil 2 on December 27th and December 28th. Claire's search for Chris takes her all the way to an Umbrella base in Paris, but instead of finding her brother, she gets captured and shipped off to Rockford Island. Not exactly the family reunion she was looking for.
He won't come. You'll just end up disappointed if you rely on others.
Code Veronica originally debuted on the Sega Dreamcast, but after Sega's days in the console business came to an end, Capcom gave the game a second life with an updated version called Resident Evil Code Veronica X, which hit the GameCube and PlayStation 2 the following year. Some additional things were added to this version, like extra Wesker cutscenes, new story beats, and a slew of bug fixes, and even a snazzy new haircut for Steve.
Relax, beautiful. I said I was sorry.
In the 2019 Resident Evil 2 remake, Claire was completely redesigned and outfitted in practical jeans and a long sleeve jacket instead of her original hot pants and cycling shorts.
Left in the building?
Speaking of Resident Evil 2 outfits, one of Claire's unlockable costumes is none other than Elsa Walker's jumpsuit from Resident Evil 1.5, a nod to her beginnings.
I have to find my brother.
Claire's sharpshooting skills don't just appear out of nowhere. They're the result of Big Brother Chris putting her through intense weapon drills, target practice, and combat tactics long before Raccoon City ever went off the rails. One of Claire's most recent crossover video game appearances came alongside Leon in the Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion, hunting monsters instead of zombies, both sporting their classic Raccoon City gear. In Resident Evil 2, Claire's red jacket sports Made in Heaven across the back, a wink at Queen's 1995 album of the same name. If you snoop around the STARS office by Chris's desk, you'll spot his own Made in Heaven jacket. Must be a sibling bonding thing. Claire's got dead-eye aim thanks to tutoring from Chris. Just look at Code Veronica, where she pops a flammable tank to fry an entire squad, and even shoots a sniper round out of the sky. Whether it's pistols, shotguns, rifles, SMGs, rocket launchers, or miniguns, she handles them all like a pro. Claire's biggest role outside of the games is probably in the movies. She first showed up in Resident Evil Extinction and stuck around for every film after that. Claire is a playable survivor in Dead by Daylight, joining Jill, Chris, and Leon on the roster, while Nemesis and Wesker show up as killers. But don't expect any shooting. This time around, Claire is more about running, hiding, and fixing a generator or two, if she's lucky. Claire has appeared in 8 Resident Evil games, 9 if you count the 2019 Resident Evil 2 Remake as a separate entry. Talk about a legendary run in the series.
Shower.
Yeah.
Really? Not bad. Ooh,
In Resident Evil Revelations 2, Claire returns as one of the main protagonists, starring in the first half of the episodic game. Set between Resident Evil 5 and 6, she teams up with Moria Burton, Barry's daughter, on a monster-filled island. Together, they must survive, solve the mystery, and of course, escape the chaos. In the 2021 Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City movie, Claire is played by Kaya Scaldonero. The film reboots the franchise with a more faithful take on the original games, blending elements from both Resident Evil 1 and 2. Claire's back to her resourceful best, teaming up with Leon, Chris, and Jill to survive the outbreak in Raccoon City. Claire was only 19 during the events of Resident Evil 2, making her one of the youngest main characters in the series. Survivor 2: Code Veronica, released in 2001, is a first-person shooter and the sequel to Resident Evil Survivor. Adapted from Resident Evil Code Veronica, the game lets players control Claire and Steve Burnside as they fight through the chaos, bringing a whole new perspective to the game. In the Resident Evil novels by S.T. Perry, Claire plays a key role in the books based on Resident Evil 2 and Code Veronica. She's portrayed as tough, resourceful, and deeply determined to find her brother. While the books take some liberties with the story, Claire remains a central figure, staying true to her survivalist roots and strong sense of justice. I enjoy the books and recommend them if you want some more Resident Evil in your life. Speaking of enjoying all things Resident Evil, if you're liking this video so far, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment with your favorite Claire fact. Let's see which one stands out as the fan favorite. Anyways, back to the video. In Code Veronica, Claire gets a special cutscene if you manage to defeat Nosferatu using only the combat knife. It's a tough challenge, but pull it off and you'll get an extra scene showing just how badass Claire can be with nothing but a blade and some serious determination. Revelations 2 is the only game where Claire ditches her signature ponytail, making it a rare look for her in the series. In Code Veronica, Claire's jacket swaps out Made in Heaven from Resident Evil 2 for Let Me Live, which, just like before, is another nod to Queen, as it's the title of a song from the same 1995 album. Claire really likes Queen, huh? Claire's Let Me Live jacket in Code Veronica is actually a throwback to her special unlockable outfit in the original Resident Evil 2, where this jacket, complete with Let Me Live printed on the back, made its first appearance. Originally, Code Veronica was meant to feature Jill Valentine heading to an Umbrella facility in Europe. But with Resident Evil 3 already in development, Capcom decided to bring Jill into that game instead. This actually worked out better as Resident Evil 2 set up the storyline where Claire finds Chris's diary and learns he's heading to Europe, tying the plot perfectly into Code Veronica.
Chris Redfield. Is he a relative of yours or something?
Claire also pops up in Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D on the Nintendo 3DS, a score attack shooter that matches up the Mercenaries modes from Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. She's one of 8 playable characters, but you'll have to earn her by beating missions 1 through 3 with at least a rank of B. One of Claire's hobbies is motorcycle customization. She's not just about surviving zombies, she knows her way around an engine too. In fact, she even had 2 motorcycles back in her college days. Claire's favorite food? A cheeseburger. After everything she's been through, sometimes nothing beats a classic. Besides motorcycles and cheeseburgers, Claire's also got a soft spot for dancing. Claire finds political conversations to be boring. When you play as Steve in Code Veronica and go back to the room where Claire is, she hits him with some pretty rude remarks.
What's wrong? Cold feet? Do you want me to take care of this for you, little boy?
It's a little harsh, but let's be honest, Steve kinda had it coming.
Don't want you following me, lady. You'll only slow me down.
In Resident Evil Outbreak, there's a fun Easter egg for series fans. In the Hellfire scenario, which takes place at the Apple Inn, if you check the guest register at the front desk, Claire Redfield's name is listed. Given the game's timeline during the Raccoon City outbreak, maybe she made a reservation while searching for her brother. Claire is the only main Resident Evil 2 character not to appear in Resident Evil 6. While Leon, Chris, and Sherry Birkin made their way into the game, Claire was absent, as her storyline in Revelations 2 overlapped with Resident Evil 6's timeline. She was replaced by Helena Harper instead. In Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Claire Redfield is a playable character, bringing her survival skills and sharpshooting to the crossover fighting game. The canon way to play Resident Evil 2 on the original PS1 is Claire's story first, A, followed by Leon's B. This sequence provides the most complete experience, as you'll see different perspectives and story details that tie together to form the full narrative of the Raccoon City outbreak.
It's the agent that can turn humans into the ultimate bioweapons.
In Code Veronica, Claire is initially hesitant to trust Steve Burnside, but eventually she sees he's just trying to survive. Steve opens up about his romantic feelings for her, though it's hard to say if she shared the same feelings. When Steve mutates and dies, Claire is devastated.
I love you, Claire.
Claire has impressive knife skills thanks to Chris's training. She can take down multiple zombies and B.O.W.s with ease. In the Darkside Chronicles, Claire actually throws Chris's knife to save Leon from a zombie attacking him from behind. In the Resident Evil 2 remake, Claire's motorcycle license plate has the phrase "Made in Heaven" on it. Yet another nod to Queen. In Resident Evil Reverse, a 2022 online survival revenge battle game, Claire Redfield is one of the playable characters. Equipped with a handgun, machine gun, and a variety of skills, Claire Redfield is a key member of TerraSave, a non-government organization focused on human rights. She joined the group after the events of Resident Evil 4, using her experience to help those affected by the lingering effects of Umbrella's experiments. Claire appears in the manga Biohazard Heavenly Island, which takes place after Revelations 2 and features lore connections to Umbrella Corps. The story follows a reality TV crew filming on a remote island that turns out to be a former bioweapon test site. Claire joins the investigation as a TerraSave member, helping uncover the island's horrific secrets while dodging zombies, mutants, and bad production choices. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Claire Redfield, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment letting me know your favorite Claire fact. And if you want even more Resident Evil content, be sure to check out my other videos on this channel. And hey, don't forget to grab a green herb on your way out.